Welcome to the Spark by Hollywood podcast. I am your host, Devora Goldberg. In this podcast, I guide my listeners through a deeper look into the parallel paradigm of Hollywood versus Jewish ideas, love, relationships, and empowerment, and uncover which one is truly attainable and sustainable for us as Jews to achieve. Thank you for joining. Welcome to today's episode of the Spark by Hollywood podcast. I'm super excited about today's episode, not only about the topic that we're going to discuss, but mostly because I have an amazing guest with me in studio. Malka Fridman is a very dear friend of mine, someone who is a celebrity in her own right. So before we continue, Malka, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I am quite honored to be here, Devora. Thank you for having me today.
Wonderful. So to give my listeners a little bit of a background, Malka, you and I met through our husbands many years ago. And we discovered at one point that we both have a love for music. So we started off with jamming sessions and chatting on the side, which turned more into more chatting and less jamming.
Right?
But we definitely connected on that level. But you have a background in music. And if you can give my listeners a little snippet of what that looked like, maybe take us back into your childhood. What did your childhood look like? And how was music incorporated into it?
Well, my childhood revolved around just a lot of playing in general. So playing music, yes, playing with all kinds of things, sticks and rocks and trees. And I was homeschooled.
Wow.
Really earthy, crunchy. Back in the day when homeschooling wasn't as popular as it is today. I spent a lot of time playing music. I think I got my first piano we got from a friend that was giving it away and didn't know how to do anything. I was 9 years old and I just sat down and I just started playing. And my mother recalls it was like the most beautiful music. Now she's my mother. So.
Take that with a little grain of salt.
Yeah. But no, I always loved music. I always was begging my parents, can I get a guitar? And so when I was, I think around that age, around 9, I bought my first guitar with my own money because I had a job at that age. And, $2 an hour for mother's help.
Yes, but it adds up slowly but surely.
And I felt so industrious getting my own guitar. I started taking lessons and I was also taking piano lessons and just slowly progressed. And I really wanted to perform. That was my dream was to be singing, performing. I would schlep my guitar around to different parties that, hadn't necessarily asked me to play, but I brought my guitar anyway.
Yes.
And there I was sitting in the background playing.
Just playing along.
It just felt so good.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it got started.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, did you have any singers, composers, any celebrities, either in Hollywood or in the Jewish way of life that you looked up to that really shaped to what kind of music you play or what kind of music you're gravitated to?
Yes. So when I was younger, I really wanted to play guitar like Shlomo Carlebach. It was my inspiration. And when I was, I think around 10 or 11, I actually sang on stage with Neshama Carlebach, which is his daughter.
His daughter, yes.
And she's quite famous. And so that was
that's amazing.
A milestone experience.
Yes.
I had,
How old were you?
I was probably 11 or 12. A little fuzzy exactly when I did it. But yeah, it was around that age. And that was really, really special. And then later on, when I was taking guitar lessons, I really got into Irish music. And I actually just recorded my first music video with a sea shanty theme, which is it's sort of an Irish soundtrack. And I was in heaven. I'm finally, I get to do my Irish beat. But my sister and I and another friend actually had a band when we were teens, and we would perform for women group only. I don't know if you're going to talk about Kolisha and the idea
you definitely
of
will.
Singing for women, female audiences. But we had this thing that we did. We were, just going around performing for women. And we did play a few Irish pieces. It was so much fun.
Amazing.
So much fun. Yeah.
So I kind of want to touch upon what you're mentioning, Kol Isha. If you can explain to the audience, what does that mean? And how did that affect you as a singer, as a performer? Did it limit you in any way? Did it help you flourish? Tell us a bit more.
Okay. So Kol Isha is the Hebrew words for voice of a woman. And it's an observance that religious women do to as a form of modesty. Mm-hmm. So we don't sing in front of men because the voice of a woman is considered to be something that's very special that we want to keep modest. Mm-hmm. You know,
the singing voice of a woman.
The singing voice of a woman. Okay. Versus the speaking voice, right? Good thing to clarify. Yeah. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that more, why a singing voice would be more, what is the word? Alluring?
Absolutely. Help us out.
Okay.
What would you like to share?
This is your topic, Deborah, not mine. I'm not used to speaking about all this.
Go ahead, honey. It's your stage.
Okay. Yeah. Like in terms of modesty, if you think about the woman up on stage and singing, what is the vision that comes to you? And I'm thinking of, maybe perhaps some of our pop stars these days. I can't think of any names, but I'm sure if you were to think in your head, what are they singing about? How are they dressing? How do they present themselves? Yes. And it automatically conjures up an image that isn't necessarily aligned with modesty.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So what we do as Jewish women is we say, this is an important part of who we are, and we want to keep it modest. Like similar to our dress and our speech, how we're interacting with members of the opposite gender. We want to keep it holy and sacred. So and with other women, we can maintain that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when you're limiting yourself to a woman demographic versus a mixed crowd, did you find that limited you in any way? Did you find like you're suppressed in any way, or you can't express yourself completely like others may be able to do?
There would have been a time where I would have thought about that question, probably in my younger years. And I've been like, only I could get out there and, be on stage and really expose myself to a greater audience. And then with some maturity and life experience and also lots of opportunities, I've found out that performing for female audience only is limitless because there's a world for all women. And there's something so special about a female connection that you can't get when you're in a mixed crowd. You just can't.
That's right.
It's more soulful. It's more, there's more depth.
Yes.
There.
Connecting with your own.
Yeah. So, it's now coming out much more, I think, with, the internet, social media, YouTube, that there's so much more of a platform that women can perform in. Probably back in the day where, you'd had to do a big concert in an auditorium and this and that, maybe there wouldn't be so much opportunity. But nowadays, you can do all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And recently I was in my first feature film movie.
Amazing. Tell us about that.
It was so exciting. So this was written by women, produced by women. We did have a male director and stage people, but that's okay. That's besides the point. They were there to facilitate the process.
Right.
But predominantly, the whole thing was done by women, only female actresses. Although there were some male actors in the movie, but they were filmed separately. So everything was done in a very, very modest way and highly, highly professional. Really top-notch acting, I would say. Beyond Hollywood. I know you're sparked by Hollywood. Beyond Hollywood.
Beyond.
Yeah. It was amazing. An incredible experience. And I think, I had one understanding like, okay, I'm a performer and I create lots of opportunities for myself to perform with, different venues and platforms. But creating a feature film, well, I didn't create it. I was the actress in it.
Yeah.
But the whole thing like really opened my eyes. Like, wow. Like, first of all, it's a lot of work. And I thank the producers and the many, many hours and all the dedication of what went into it. But the fact that women can do this, and in the religious community. And
exclusively.
Exclusively.
Yes.
It's so inspiring for everyone, especially for young girls that are feeling like, what can I do?
They can express themselves. We have a platform for expression.
That's right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you've actually taken your career as a singer, as a songwriter. Now you're telling us you're an actress as well. I mean, I knew that. You're just telling the audience.
Yes.
You also create YouTube videos. And what I love about your YouTube videos is you have a very real message, a Jewish message of a Jewish woman raising kids, what that might be like. Tell us what inspired you to start those YouTube videos and what that journey feels like.
Well, what started it was, I would like to call it my COVID project. I don't know. You know how everyone's...
Oh, is that when it started?
It kind of started then.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I've been writing songs since I can remember, little, doo-wop things,
right.
Just for fun, but most of them were humorous. And then I discovered the genre of parodies. Didn't even know it existed. But I was like, wow, this is so cool. I can take a tune.
Yes.
And put different words to it. And a lot of people recognize the tune, right. And then it's catchy. And there's something about like the brain memory. I don't know, but it's just so much fun to sing parodies.
Yes.
So I entered a women's only, talent show, Americans Got Talent. So this was like our local form of the talent show. And it was like, there were 800 women there. I mean, it was not a small thing.
Yes.
And I performed one of my parodies and I got such a great response. They're like, wow, this is so good. Do you have any more?
Yes.
Wow, I'm going to keep doing this. And then, that was right before COVID happened. And then when COVID happened, I was like, okay, no more talent shows, no more live stuff. I got to find another way to do it. Yeah. So I found a producer and a videographer and just started to make these videos come to life.
Love it.
And the topic of my videos is very much aligned with parenting and, Jewish women and like just fun things that mothers experience in daily life.
Yes.
I also have some on the inspirational side about the mikvah, which I know you talk about on your podcast.
That's right.
So lots of different things.
Yeah.
And I've got so much more, God willing, that I'll be able to do.
Amazing.
Coming down the line.
And I love that because when we're talking about messaging specifically, like you mentioned before, celebrity pop stars and their music and their messaging and what they put out there, how much of it is actually an inspiration, moving us from one place to the next, feeling that the singer gets us, understands us in our situation. It seems like there's not so much of the inspiring part out there. And yes, I understand there's an element of entertainment, which is just fun. You're just kicking your shoes off, putting your feet up and just listening to a song or watching the singer perform. But when you have meaning behind it and you can have a connection with your audience, I think that enriches the experience so much more. Probably for yourself. And especially as the audience member, they're like, oh, she gets me. Yeah, that happened to me this morning with my kids, but it's now we're making fun of it and it's fun and we're joking about it. And yeah, I know that tune from like 20 years ago. So I can sing along as well. So it makes it fun.
It does. And I do love having relatable pieces. I actually got a fan letter.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Tell us about it.
It was so fun. Like I opened up my email, I'm like, it actually was titled A Letter from a Fan.
Love it.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I'm famous. No. So basically this woman wrote how she was driving to carpool. One of my songs are about carpool.
That's right.
Taking your kids back and forth. What it's like. And she just wrote how she loves that song and she feels like I totally get her, exactly what you were saying. Yes. And that made my day.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
She can be in the throes of carpool and everything that it comes with and just have your music on and be like, I'm good. She's going through the same thing and everything is fine.
Yeah.
That's amazing. One thing I wanted to ask you regarding women's empowerment as we know, one of the big stressors in Hollywood is the empowerment of the woman and how she can maybe use her role as being better than the man, or just coming out of her shell to express herself in a way, in many different ways. Hollywood has lots of different ideas and how we can do it. How do you see yourself in this role of women empowerment? And how would you give this message over to other people in your shoes, in terms of someone who has a talent to sing, a talent to perform, who may just be on the edge and they're not sure how they can come out and shine? What would be your message to them with regard to women empowerment?
Wow. Big question, Devorah.
Yeah, I should have prepped you on that one.
I know. No, I was no prep on this, but I will tell you, as you were speaking, I was thinking, what is my mission here? What's my purpose? And we know that we're a godly divine soul here in this world to accomplish something.
Yes.
So even spark, the word spark, which is part of your Hollywood podcast. Spark by Hollywood podcast. I
like that. I have a Hollycast.
Yeah, you do.
I no longer have a podcast, everyone.
But we all have a spark in us that needs to shine.
Yes.
And I feel like, with our role as women, in my home is to be the light in the home and to shine that forward so that everybody can glean from that. And then with the talents that we have, that it's really part of who we are and what we're supposed to be doing here.
Yeah.
So specifically to women, because I think that is general for everybody.
Yeah.
But specifically for women, I feel like we just have this ability to uplift wherever we go. So
we can find different ways how to do it.
Exactly.
We can do it with music, with entertainment, podcasts, whatever rocks your boat.
Yes, exactly.
Before we end off, Malka, if you can tell my listeners how they can find you, how they can listen to their music, how they can connect with you. Maybe you got more fans out there. They're just not sure how to connect. So what's their way of reaching you and learning more about what you do?
Thanks, Devorah. I have a YouTube channel, first of all. It's Malka Fridman. So that's spelled Malka, and the last name is Fridman. No E in there. It's an I. So you can Google search me or search me on YouTube there.
Check it out, everyone. And you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, you'll be snapping your fingers to the music. Probably many of you will recognize the tunes. And social media, I'm not quite so active on social media yet. Haven't actually
gotten into it.
I hope to at one point.
Okay.
But I do have a goal at some point to have a school for girls, or an art fusion program, because I find there's such a need for girls to have an outlet to be able to perform do things. So that's coming down the pipeline as well, with lots of other projects, God willing.
Fantastic. So even though you're not so active on Instagram or Facebook, whatever it is, can you let everyone know what your handle is? So when that big news comes out, they'll know where to find it.
Okay. Yes. It's at Malka Fridman Official. That's my Instagram handle.
Okay. Amazing. Connect with Malka, everyone. You will not be disappointed. A great personality, a great person inside and out. Malka, thank you for this conversation today. It was truly enlightening. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me for today's episode. If you are loving the Spark by Hollywood podcast, kindly leave me a 5-star review on the platform that you're listening on. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Sparked by Hollywood. That's where the conversations happen. That's where I give you extra content on all my episodes, and where you can send me your feedback, your comments, and questions. And finally, in a world where we are all enamored by the spark of Hollywood and its celebrities, always remember your own spark that you carry within you, that makes you the gift that the world needs to shine that much brighter. I'll catch you in the next episode.